and welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is about planning and budgeting, so if those are topics that you are also interested in, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. In today's video, we are going to be closing out my budget for the month of July. No, the month of June. Next video, we'll be setting up my budget for the month of July. I am using the Budget by Paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom, so let's just jump in and get started. Okay, we're going to start today by looking at this week's expense tracker. So the way I use her workbook is I do one expense tracker per week, and then I make a key at the bottom of each week where I have the categories organized by color and total. So as you can see this week, we only spent money on 3 categories: food, gas, and Amazon, and we had several food purchases. So let's take a look at the calendar and let's update all the purchases and take a closer look to see where our money went this week. So there were no bills or debts this week, so we're going to start with food. So we had our normal food shop at Sam's and we spent $130. Then we had our normal trip to Fairway and we spent $82. So my goal, like budgeting wise, was to spend $150 at Sam's and $50 at Fairway for a total of $200. So you can see we were below budget at Sam's but above at Fairway. But we did have a couple of other food purchases. So we purchased some items from Walmart for $20. And then we had several restaurant purchases that came to a total of $48. Now this was for drive-thrus, and the reason why we had so many drive-through costs this week is because I recently injured my knee, and the thought of standing and cooking was just way overwhelming. It just seemed so much easier just to sit in my car and go through a drive-through. So going forward, we decided we're only going to buy very specific items from Sam's Club. We're going to buy rotisserie chicken, shredded cheese, tortillas, eggs, and then as needed, because we might not need that every week. And then we're also going to buy 1 or 2 boxes of the orange chicken and paper supplies like toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, and coffee. And we have switched from those coffee pods to making pots of coffee. We got a coffee maker, like an old-fashioned traditional coffee maker, and we're now making coffee with loose coffee, and so that's saving us a ton of money. That was suggested by several of my subscribers, and it was a great suggestion. It's really helping us save in that area. We don't have to give up coffee, and it's been great. So going forward, we're only going to spend $100 a week at Sam's, and then that will leave me $100, and I can decide what I want to do with that, whether I want to pick up some things from Fairway or whether we want to go through some fast food restaurants. So I'm very excited about that flexibility. We haven't had that kind of flexibility for quite some time. We could have made this decision at any time, but I'm just excited to take a look at that and see how it goes for us. So that's our plan for July. Okay, so for gas, we spent $39 on gas. We budget $80 a month. We usually fill up twice, so it'd be about $40 per fill up. So we were just $1 shy of our max for gas. So that's interesting. We usually don't spend as much on gas as we intend to. Okay, and then we had one Amazon purchase. I purchased a new knee brace for my bad knee. So that was $29. So coming to our budget page, this is a budget for the whole month. We paid, as of last week, we had paid all of our bills, which include bills and debts. So bills are things that are always going to exist, like car insurance, water, power, things like that. And debt are things that are eventually going to get paid off, like our mortgage, our car payment, our student loans. So that's how I distinguish the two, but they're both considered fixed expenses. And then down here, I have my variable expenses, and we've been tracking them week to week. So today we're going to finish off the total and see how we ended the month. But first, we need to close out the last week. Okay, so my starting balance here, so this is for week 5. I take my ending balance from the previous week, which was $57, well, negative 57. So we were already negative in the food budget before we started this week. And then we had 40 still available in gas. We had 45 still available for miscellaneous. And we didn't have anything available for spending. We actually get our spending once a month at the beginning of the month. So for food, we ended up spending, what's our total? A total of $280. So we have gone way above budget this month. So let's see, 57 plus 280 is negative 337. So I had an interesting question on last week's video. I'm sorry, I don't remember who asked it, but somebody asked if we have like a ceiling or like a limit for our food budget, and we don't, but we are going to going forward. So starting in July, like with Sam's Club, our $100 budget, we're going to budget $100, but we're going to have a cap at $150, where we will not go over $150 no matter what. And then for the second part of our food budget, the $100, we're going to be doing that all in cash. So we'll only be able to spend what we actually have in hand. So with Sam's, we do a card because it's just easier to go around Sam's and scan everything, and then we can just leave and we don't have to wait through the lines to check out. So we do use a card at Sam's, but all the other food will be cash. And I'll also be using that money for savings challenges as well. Okay, so gas. So we had 40, we spent 39, so we still have $1 left in our gas budget. Miscellaneous, we had $45, and how much did we spend? Was it 29? Yeah, we spent 29 on my knee brace, so let's see how much we had left over. So we still have $16 left over in that category. So even though we were positive in gas and gas and miscellaneous, unfortunately, it was not enough to cover how much we went over in food. This has been a big struggle for us, but like I said, I'm very excited about our new plan. I think our new plan is going to be really good. Okay, so let's do all the total numbers. So we started the week with $28 for our to spend on our variable expenses. You take in consideration the negative. So we spent $280, $39, and $29. So we are negative $348 in that area. So 28 minus 348. So we are negative $320. Whew. Well, let's see how that's going to affect our budget. So I'm going to add all of my food totals together first, and then we'll have a grand total. So we budgeted $1,000. Let's see how much we actually spent this month on food. So we actually spent $1,340. So we were $340 above budget. Wow. Okay, so gas, I think we just came in $1 below. I'm just going to double check here. Yep, we spent $79. Miscellaneous. So we spent $234 on miscellaneous. And we had a budget of $250. And then spending, we did exactly $180 because that's cash, and we did that at the beginning of the month. Okay, it's time to add all of our numbers together. So starting with my fixed expenses, we had $1,317, $133, $17, $87, $52, $17, $274, $118, $73, and $32. So $2,120. So we spent a little less than we originally budgeted. That's always nice. So we had, coming up here to our income, David brought in $20.92. He has a fixed income, so that's helpful. Then we rolled over $916. I didn't have any income for this month, so we ended up using money from our cash envelopes to help us get through the month. So we deposited $1,005 in our account at the beginning of the month. So all of this came to $4,013. Okay, coming down here, so $4,013 minus $2,120. $1,893. And I'm going to put my budget and my actual right here. So we've already done the budgeted amount. So looking at debt. So for debt, we had $1,317. SUV was $118. and student loan was $73. So that's $1,508. So we were $1 above budget on debt. So $2,120 minus $1,508. So we actually spent $612 on our bills. But I'm just going to double check my math and make sure it came to $612. Yes, perfect. I always like it when the numbers work out. Okay, so bringing down our new total, $1,893 down here. So saving some money on our fixed expenses is going to help cover some of that cost we went over in food, but not all of it. So let's see how we ended the month with our variable expenses. So $1,340 plus $79 plus $234 plus $180. That's $1,833. Okay, so $1,893 minus $1,833. So we're still positive $60. So we did not do sinking funds or extra debt this month because we knew it was going to be a really tight month. We were hoping to still have $295 by the end of the month to put towards our $1,000 goal, but we ended with just $60. So that $60 is going towards our $1,000 goal. Our first financial goal right now is to build a $1,000 cushion in our account. So that's what we're currently working on. So that is going to go towards that, which means we have zero to, we're zeroing out the month to start the new month. Okay, so at the end of the month, I like to fill out all of the worksheets at the back of the month. And this first one is called, Where Did My Money Go? So we start with 9/16. We deposited $2,092 from David's paycheck. We didn't have any other income, but we did use $1,005 from savings for a total monthly flow of $4,013. So here's the amount that we budgeted. Let's write down the amount that we actually spent and look at the difference. So for bills, we budgeted $701 and we actually spent $612. Debt was $1,507 and we spent $1,508. Food was $1,000 and we spent $1,340. Gas was $80 and we spent $79. Miscellaneous was $250 and we spent $234. Spending was $180 and that's how much we spent because we do that in cash. We did not do the savings challenges and sinking funds, and our rollover is only going to be $60. So let's look at the difference here. So for bills, so 701 minus 612. So we were positive $89. That's a good thing. For debt, we were negative $1. So we were over budget by $1, not bad. Food, we were negative $340. So this is definitely our Achilles tendon in our budget. Oh, food. Okay, gas, we were positive $1. Miscellaneous, see, $250 minus $234. So we had $16 left. So we were positive 16. This is a difference of 0 for these three categories. And then for rollover, we thought we were going to have $295, but we only had $60. $235. I always get confused, is this positive or negative? Yeah, it's positive, but it has a negative connotation. So it's interesting. Like in this category, positive or negative could be a good or a bad thing depending on what the category is. Actually, probably on all the categories, we want them to be positive except for rollover. If rollover were negative, that would be a good thing. The difference being a negative would be a good thing. It means that would mean that we saved more than we actually intended to save. But in this case, we saved $235 less than we actually intended to save. Okay, so I'm gonna calculate the percent of the total monthly inflow. So the way you calculate the percent of total monthly inflow is you take your monthly amount that you spent, you divide it by the total monthly inflow, so 612 divided by 4,013, and then you multiply that number times 100, and that will give you your percentage. So 612 divided by 4013 times 100 would be 15%. So 15% of our inflow went to bills. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the numbers, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go over the numbers with you. So 15% went to bills, 38% went to debt, 33% went to food, 2% to gas, 6% to miscellaneous, 5% to spending, and 1% to rollover. Okay, moving on to the next page in the workbook, we are going to look at the monthly debt and savings breakdown. So for debt, we look at the total monthly inflow, which was $4,013. And then we're going to look at the monthly debt payoff amount, which was $1,508. So to calculate the percent of inflow to debt, I'm going to take my monthly debt total and I'm going to divide it by my monthly inflow. So 38% went to debt. So now we're going to take a look at each individual debt category and how much of that went to debt, what percentage of that went to debt. So for mortgage, that was $1,317. SUV was $118. And student loan was $73. So to calculate this, I'm going to take the total divided by the monthly debt payoff amount, because we want to know what percentage of this went to mortgage, what percentage of this went to SUV, and what percentage of this went to student loans. So 87% went to paying off our mortgage, 8% went to our SUV, and 5% went to our student loans. Okay, let's take a look at our savings. So we have the savings challenge, sinking fund, and rollover, and we didn't do these two this month, so we're only going to be looking at that $60 that we put towards our rollover. So our total monthly income, so this is not the inflow, but the actual income, was $2,092. The amount that we were able to save from that was $60. So 60 divided by 2092 times 100. So we were able to save 3% of our income this month. And this category is 100% of that $60. Okay, and the last worksheet we're going to look at today is the monthly spending comparison. So I want to take a look at not only my monthly inflow change, but my actual change in income from May to June. So the inflow change would have been $40.13 in June and $45.92 in May. So the inflow was less. So we had less inflow this month. So we made $579 less, or we had $579 less to work with for our budget this month than we did the month before. Now let's look at the actual earned income, which was a great variation because I didn't bring home any income this month. So in May we brought home together, David and I, $40.92, where this month we only had David's income of $20.92 for earned income. So that's a difference of $2,000. So we were negative $2,000 this month in earned income. I just like to look at that. I think it's interesting to see. Okay, it's also interesting to see the trends, because in like October, November, December, my income went up. Every month it was going up. January went up. And then it started to slowly go down, and then we had this big hit here. Okay, so we're going to put all the numbers for June, the percent of the budget, and then we're going to look at the change. Okay, so starting with bills, in May we spent $643 on bills, which was 14% of our budget. In June we spent $612, which was 15% of our budget. So we spent an additional 1% of our budget on bills this month. On debt, in May we spent $1,506, which was 33% of our budget. In June we spent $1,508, which was 38% of our budget. So that was a 5% increase going to debt for percentage of budget. For food, 22% of our budget went to food in May, 33% of our budget went to food in June. So that's an increase of 11%. For gas, we spent 1% more this month than we did last month. Miscellaneous was exactly the same, so there's no difference, there's no change. Spending, we spent 1% more in spending, and rollover, we spent 19% less this month than we did the month before. So we were able to save 20% of our budget last month in May, and this month we were only able to save 1% of our budget. Very interesting to see how this all breaks down. I am looking forward to actually having income in July. It's a lot more fun to budget when you have income and you're not borrowing from your sinking funds. So I can't wait to get this month, just wash this month away, start July nice and fresh. So I will be bringing a July budget setup next week. I hope you will join me for that. Hopefully it'll be coming out on either Sunday or Monday. Our schedule has just been crazy lately, so I can't guarantee if it's gonna be Sunday or Monday or even Tuesday like this week, but hopefully Sunday or Monday. I hope you will come back and look and watch our July budget setup. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you again next time. Bye.